If you're a senior tech professional right now with 15, 20 years of experience, you're probably feeling something you have never felt before in your career. You're watching junior developers ship features with AI in hours that used to take your team weeks. You're reading headlines about layoffs at companies you thought were untouchable. And for the first time, your experience feels like it might be a liability instead of an asset. I'm going to tell you something that might sound counterintuitive. You, the senior professional who feels most threatened by AI, are in the single best position to build a business with it. Not despite your experience, but because of it. Let me explain why. Let me describe something I see constantly and tell me if this resonates with you. You spent 20 years building a career. You studied hard. You got the degrees. You climbed from individual contributor to senior engineer to architect to VP. Every promotion was earned. Every skill was hard-won. For many of you, especially if you're a first-gen immigrant, this career represents something bigger than a paycheck. It's a proof that the sacrifice was worth it. Proof that you belong. Proof that your title, your salary, your employer's name, these aren't just credentials, they are your identity. And now AI is threatening all of it. Not just your job, but your identity. The very thing that makes you, you in the professional settings. The expertise that took 2 decades to build can now be approximated by a language model that someone fine-tuned over a weekend. So here's what happens. You start thinking about building something of your own. An AI business, a side project, a consulting practice, and then the voice kicks in. Who am I without the company? What if I am not as good as I think I am? What if I fail and I have wasted everything? That voice is not a sign that you shouldn't do this. That voice is the sound of an identity expanding, and it's most important growth you will experience in your career. Let me show you why your position is actually dominant. There are 3 things you need to build a successful AI business, and senior professionals have all 3, while most AI enthusiasts have 0. Number 1 is domain expertise. AI is a tool. It's an incredibly powerful tool, but a tool without context is useless. A 25-year-old who's great at prompting Claude can build a chatbot, but can they build an AI system that handles a pharmaceutical regulatory submissions? Can they build one that optimizes supply chain logistics for a manufacturer with 200 SKUs across 3 continents? Can they look at the output of an AI agent and immediately know whether the answer is right or dangerously wrong? No. That requires domain expertise, the kind that takes 15 years to develop, the kind you have. Every AI company that's actually making money right now is solving a domain-specific problem. Not a general AI problem, a specific problem in healthcare, finance, logistics, legal, operations, so on and so forth. And the people building these companies understand the domain first and AI second. You spent your career becoming a domain expert. That's not a liability, that's a moat. Number 2, professional network. You have 20 years of colleagues, clients, vendors, and industry contacts. These people trust you. They take your calls. They reply to your emails. Know what the hardest part of starting a business is? It's not building the product. It's getting someone to pay attention long enough to hear your pitch. You've already solved that problem. Your network is your distribution channel. Your former colleagues are your first customers. Your industry regulation is your marketing. A 25-year-old AI developer has GitHub followers. You have VP of operations at 3 Fortune 500 companies in your phone. That's not the same thing. Number 3 is pattern recognition. This is the one that no one talks about. After 20 years in an industry, you don't just know how things work. You know how things break. You know which problems are expensive. You know which solutions companies will pay for and which ones they will ignore. The pattern recognition is irreplaceable. AI can generate solutions. It cannot identify which problems are worth solving. That's judgment. That's experience. And that's you. Now, I need to address something specific to technical professionals. If you're an engineer, an architect, a technical leader, you have a bias that will sabotage if you don't catch it early. You want to build first and sell later. It's in your DNA. You see the problem, you want to architect the solution, write the code, design the system. The idea of selling something before it's built feels wrong, maybe even dishonest. This is exactly backwards for an AI business. The professionals who succeed, who actually generate revenue, do it in the opposite way. They sell first and then they build. They validate the offer before they write a single line of code. They get clients to say, yes, I will pay for that, before they spend a single weekend in their development environment. Here's why it matters. I've seen brilliant engineers spend 6 months building an AI product that nobody wants. Beautiful architecture, clean code, 0 customers, because they never asked anyone if they would pay for it. Meanwhile, I've watched non-technical professionals, people who can't even write a loop, land their first paying client in 3 weeks, not because they built something better, but because they talked to the potential customers first, built exactly what someone was willing to pay for. Your technical skills are an asset, but only after you have validated that someone wants what you're building. Offer first, build second. This is the hardest mindset shift for engineers, and it's the most important one. Let me reframe some things you probably take for granted. 1, project management. You've run projects with 10, 20, 50 people. You know how to scope work, set milestones, manage dependencies. Running an AI business is a project, a small one, compared to what you've managed at work. You already have this skill. Number 2, stakeholder communication. You have presented to executives. You have translated technical concepts for non-technical audiences. You have written proposals that got approved. That's sales. You've been selling your entire career. You just called it getting buy-in. Risk assessment. You have evaluated trade-offs every day. Build versus buy, speed versus quality, cost versus capability. That analytical rigor is exactly what you need to evaluate business decisions. While first-time entrepreneurs agonize over every choice, you will approach it like any other engineering problem. Assess the options, pick the best one, and iterate. Quality standards. You know what good looks like in your domain. When an AI agent produces output, you can evaluate it instantly. Is this analysis correct? Is this recommendation sound? Would a real professional trust this? The quality filter is what makes your AI-powered service worth paying for. Without it, AI output is just plausible sounding text. And finally, working under constraints. You have shipped products on deadline, under budget, with half the resources you asked for. Building a side business while working full-time, that's just another constraint. And you're better at constraints than almost anyone else. I know what some of you are thinking. I am an operator, not an entrepreneur. I don't have the personality for this. Let me challenge that. You're picturing an entrepreneur as someone charismatic, risk-loving, comfortable with chaos. The Silicon Valley archetype. Hoodies, pitch decks, move fast and break things. That's one kind of entrepreneur. That's not the only kind. And honestly, it's not even the most successful kind. The most successful AI entrepreneurs I've seen are methodical. They are analytical. They are risk-aware. Not risk-seeking, but risk-aware. They test before they invest. They optimize before they scale. They build systems, not spectacles. That sounds a lot like an engineer to me. The traits that made you successful incorporate discipline, analytical thinking, attention to detail, reliability are the same traits that make a business sustainable. The flashy entrepreneurs get the magazine covers. The methodical ones get the recurring revenue. You don't need to become someone else. You need to apply who you already are to a different problem. Now let's talk about risk, because I know that's what's really holding you back. You're thinking, I have a mortgage. I have a family. I can afford to fail. I'm not asking you to quit your job. I'm not asking you to empty your savings. I'm asking you to spend 10 to 15 hours a week for 90 days to test whether your expertise can generate revenue outside your employer. That's it. That's the risk. Some evenings and weekends for 3 months. And let me show you the other side of risk calculation, the one you're not running. What's the risk of doing nothing? AI is restructuring every industry. Companies are flattening hierarchies. Middle management is shrinking. Senior individual contributors are being replaced by junior developers with AI tools. The job market for experienced professionals is getting tighter and tighter every quarter. If your entire income depends on one employer continuing to value your role at your current salary, that's not safety. That's concentration risk. Any portfolio manager would tell you to diversify. Building a side business is diversification. It's a hedge. Even if it only generates $3,000 a month, that's $3,000 a month that doesn't depend on your company's next reorg. The riskiest thing you can do right now is nothing. Staying still while everything around you moves is not playing it safe. It's called falling behind. So here's what I would tell you if I were sitting across from you right now. Step 1, pick one problem from your domain that you solve well. Not the biggest problem, not the most complex one, but the one problem that you know is painful, that you know companies would pay to fix, and that you can solve it faster with AI. Step 2, talk to 5 people who have that problem. Not to sell them anything, just to confirm that the problem is real, the problem is painful, and that they would pay for it if you had the solution. This takes 1 week, 5 conversations, that's it. Step 3, make an offer. I'll solve this problem for you in 2 weeks. Here's the price. If they say yes, you build it, using AI to deliver at a speed that would have not been possible 2 years ago. If they say no, you adjust the offer and try again. Step 4, deliver. Use your domain expertise to ensure quality. Use AI to ensure speed. The combination of the two is your competitive advantage. So this isn't theory. This is the exact process that's working for professionals with background just like yours. Engineers, architects, directors, VPs, people who thought entrepreneur was a word for other people. It's not. It's just a word for someone who solves problems and gets paid directly for the solution. You've been doing it that all your life. The only difference is who signs the check. If you want the full system, the agents, the frameworks, the step-by-step process for going from expertise to revenue, I built it. Link in the description. If this hit home, subscribe. I make videos for experienced professionals building with AI. Not hype, not theory, not tutorials, just what's working right now. Next video, I'll break down the 5 AI business models you can start without writing a single line of code. Perfect follow-up to this one. Click it next.